thing yet. Here. There it is. Thank you, automated voice. Did you guys hear that? Recording in progress.
Yes.
Okay. So here comes the boilerplate, everyone. As a preliminary matter, this is Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission, permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Hopefully, we anticipate that more members will be present shortly. Members, when I call your names, if you could please respond in the affirmative. I have Val Oliver.
Here.
Thank you. Carrie Thornwell.
Here.
Anybody else arrive yet?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll keep going. Ray Pohl for the record. Staff, when I call your names, if you could please respond in the affirmative. Kadeem McCarthy.
Present.
Thank you. Holly Backus.
Present.
Thank you, Holly. Okay, anticipated speakers will be announced as the applications come up. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Nantucket Historic District Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by our recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. So turning to the first item of the agenda, but before we do so, please allow me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to make sure that Terry can create accurate meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, Diane
Yes.
Coombs is now in.
Who?
Diane.
Me.
Okay,
Me.
thank you, Diane. So Diane Coombs has just joined the ranks. Thank you, Diane. Okay, so moving along, some ground rules. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions.
Give you this.
Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. And please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor, and please state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Prior to listening, hearing from our members, and after applicants have made their pitch, the chair will afford the public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken at today's meeting will be conducted via roll call. Thanks for hearing all that stuff yet again. Let's see. So I have an agenda in front of me. Kadeem, would you say that this is good to go?
Mr. Chair, it is good to go.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kadeem.
So moved.
Okay. What's that?
So move to approve the agenda.
Thanks so much for that motion, Diane. So Diane has made a motion to approve today's agenda. On that motion, Val.
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
Diane, on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor too. Okay, so we can hit this consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the 1 and 2 of the consent agenda.
It's actually 1, 2, and 3. There's one on that second page there.
Oh, right there. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Sorry.
Very good. No, it's no problem. Okay, thanks for the motion, Diane. On that motion, Val.
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
Diane, on your motion,
Aye.
And I too am in favor. That motion carries. Let's try some consent with conditions, 3 of those.
Yeah.
Motion to approve consent with conditions.
Fantastic. Thanks, Val. On Val's motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie.
Aye.
Val on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor too. Okay, now here's where we begin to run into a few problems with quorum. So let's see, first up, first of all, let's see, is Lindsay on board here?
I'm here.
All right, Lindsay, you can see that we have quite a few members not present at the moment. Now, we do have 4 members, all of whom I believe can sit on your project. Those would be Val, who is part of your original board, Diane, who is part of your original board, Carrie, who was sat in as an alternate, and myself, who sat on your original board. So how about, do you want to move forward with this?
Yeah, please.
Let's do it. Okay, great. Thanks. Everybody's on this.
Yep. So this is 119R Eel Point. I think this was one where Val wanted to see a cross section so that you could see the grade in the front of the house, so that you could see how like the kind of the grade sloped up, and then you can see how it slopes up at the front door. We don't have a wall going in the front of the house. We just have steps in grade. So you can see kind of like that grade change as you get up to and you can see the stairs there. So there's no retaining wall in the front. It's just those steps. And then if you keep going to the backyard, you can see how it's level, but then the pool sits down at a lower grade. So the pool's actually 18 inches below grade in the back.
And that's obviously retainage there, right?
Yeah, so there is, yeah, and that's that was previously approved retainage.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that we're asking for is to widen the pool, or lengthen the pool a little bit. And you know, as you can see, it's the distance from the road. Kadeem, can you zoom out? I think we put a distance from the road to the pool on there. Yeah, 404 feet from the road. It's behind the house and it's below grade. So I think like,
All right.
I don't think it'll be as visible. And then I don't think anyone had any issue with the pickleball court because we determined it was well screened and we're adding additional screenage.
Okay. Thanks, Lindsay. Can we just go back to the site plan so that I can brush up on what exactly is changing here? So the pool is getting longer. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's getting longer by 2 feet.
2 feet?
Or two or 3 feet, I think it should say.
All right. And it's getting wider?
I think it was just getting longer. If it's wider, it's 40. Yeah, it's 46 by 20 is what it's going to.
So
It got longer by 2 feet. It got wider by 2 feet and longer. It was 18 by 44.
yeah.
20 by 46.
Okay, I remember it going in both directions. Yeah, okay, so not that that makes any difference. Okay, who wants to start on this?
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just
Kadeem.
want to note that Abby is also here.
All right, okay.
I had a really hard time getting on, I just have to say.
Oh,
Been
Oh.
trying for before 1 o'clock and it just,
no kidding.
Yeah,
Well-
she's right, me too.
Me-
It took a long time today to get on.
Maybe other people are experiencing similar problems, which is why we're lacking, but welcome, Abby. Now, listen, Abby, we already moved forward with this one, so I think we're good to go on this.
oh, yeah. Oh,
but-
that's great.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, so, yeah, you're actually chairing the next application. So.
All righty then.
Okay, back to this one. Board members, what do you think?
Well, it wasn't just the pool,
It was not, that's correct.
It was a pickleball court in the front, but
right?
I
But
just thought of-
there's also a garage with it's indicated they're 9-foot retaining walls.
So that garage was already approved and it was already on another plan, we're going for parging those walls. So like, I believe that Joe Paul took that garage through already.
I don't remember doing walls that tall.
Because that's a drive under garage. So we're not going for those concrete walls. We're going to just parge them.
Can we see the locus again?
Mr. Chair, I'm not actually seeing a locus map in the
Be on,
submission. Oh, there's this here.
Right, that's good. If we can zoom in on that.
So that shows the old house.
Right. Okay. I don't remember when Joe Paul brought this through. I was confusing it with another one where he had a sunken garage. This is one that's closer to Matticat Road. He had a sunken garage, which he got rid of. But so
I'm fine on this one if it muddies the water to just take that off.
well, listen, I want to make sure. So you're saying that the walls themselves and the subterranean garage bays were already approved by Joe Paul's office. What you're doing is you're parging the wall.
We're just parging those walls, yeah. But
As opposed to
asking
what was it approved as?
What's that?
What was it approved formerly as?
I'm assuming it was just a concrete wall. We're just parging.
Oh, okay. All right, so Val, you were pointing out some extra things on there. Thank you. Any more observations, comments, concerns?
No, it's not really the pool per se. It was that we weren't clear about exactly what was being applied for, so.
Yeah.
I do have reservations about that. And I would like to see the approval, but if you guys are comfortable with it, that's.
I'm not, so that's why I was saying, like, Val, if it makes you feel better, I'm willing to take that whole section by the garage off of the table for right now.
Why don't we just do that?
Okay,
Okay. I mean, the fact of the matter is if they were approved as just plain old concrete walls, parging them would actually be a step in the right direction. So you shouldn't have a problem with that, but let's take it off for the time being. How's that sound, Val?
that's good.
Okay. Any other concerns with this?
No,
Okay. Thank you. Diane.
No, I think I would be concerned about that wall. Not whether it's a parging or whatever, but I'd like to see the COA, they gave him a 9-foot wall over there.
How about this?
We'll take it off for now. I'm
Yeah.
going with that. I was just explaining what my problem was with the wall too.
Okay.
Meaning also,
Yeah.
I just like to ask students why they're enlarging that pool to such an extent that across the property there, it's really goes from side to side. Is it something that they do, that they need a 46 by 20 rather than a 44 by 18?
They've got a big family and they're actually staying off. They're going to the setbacks. They're not going to the property line. So they're actually staying off. I think it's 15 feet off of either side.
Okay,
And they're they just have a big family and I guess want a bigger pool.
okay, well, I mean, it fits in and it's hidden, same as the other one, smaller, so I don't have a problem.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Carrie.
I have no problem with enlarging the pool. I do want to ask the question for the pickleball court that there are no lights.
No, we're not proposing lights.
Okay, because that's right on the street side.
Good point. Yep.
And we're
Okay.
leaving all that vegetation that exists between it and we're putting in additional screening. So I'm happy to, obviously with the caveat of not to be seen at time of inspection or in perpetuity.
And no lights.
And no lights.
Okay. So you're good then?
Yes.
All right. Could somebody make a motion? Because I'm fine with this.
Make a
Motion
motion to approve as submitted.
Sounds
Mi-
good.
Wait,
minus the
Minus-
walls to the
Wall.
garage
Oh, yeah.
and
Minus,
Okay.
and no lights on the pickleball court.
and no lights on the pickleball court.
Sounds good. Now, whose motion was that? Diane's, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so thanks for the motion, Diane. Approve without the parging on the garage access and no exterior lights on the pickleball court. That's the motion. On the motion, Val,
aye.
thank you. Carrie,
Aye.
thank you. And Diane on your motion.
aye.
And I too am in favor, so that motion carries. Thank you. And I was just looking ahead there, Lindsay, to your second application at 50 Brewster. So luck has it that Abby has joined us. So she's going to chair, and you have Diane here, Val, obviously, and you can also have Carrie in, assuming nobody else has jumped on since the last time we checked.
No one else has jumped on, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so Abby, would you mind taking the?
ready.
All right, thanks. I'll mute.
So on this one, it was, I think everyone was good with it. I think that Steve just wanted to see a section showing how any of the grade change at the infinity edge. So it's just in that little back section where we're going to be coming up. I believe Alicia said it's like on the infinite at the infinity edge, we are going to be filling a little bit, but it's not the whole pool. If anything, like the way I tried to explain it earlier, how we're cutting into the hill. So it's like, as you can see, that red line kind of shows the existing grade. So you can see how we're kind of playing with the grades to kind of tuck this in. And I would also say that, you know, obviously the pool is going to be hidden. It's behind structures. So I don't even think the pool's going to be visible. But it's not, I think he was concerned that it was going to be a ton of fill, like we would be filling in where the pool was going to be lifted out of the existing grade. But as you can see, it's actually going to be cut into the existing grade.
Except on the left where you can see you're building up to the infinity edge there.
At the very end of the infinity edge is where there's going to be some fill. Yes.
4 feet or more.
Yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, we're going off the town topos, which can be off by a foot or so. When we shot it, it actually felt like 2 feet, which is why I said 2 feet. But, you know, we went off of the town topo because we had not had the surveyor had not done a topo at the time.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. Carrie, do you want to continue?
The only thing that's about the topo is that you're quite close to the property line on that corner, the whatever northeast. So I just would worry, what's beyond that? If we look at the locus, is that a neighbor's property that you're then draining
No, it's all
into?
conservation.
Okay, well, that does actually make a difference, but it's still awfully close to that corner.
Yeah, we're gonna. We feel pretty comfortable that we can handle all the grading within our property, because it's not, like I said, like the topo shows it more dramatically than it actually is in reality. And you can see on our grade lines, we're not really manipulating the grades that much. We're just elongating some topo lines. We're trying to work. I mean, Ethan went through with this house to begin with, and the whole idea was to kind of make it work and kind of tuck into the existing grades, as opposed to taking the high point, like a lot of people do, take the high point and just level the whole thing. This is kind of tucked in there to make it so we work with the grades. And in other areas, we're actually cutting grades down, like on that whole, I'd say left side, or I guess left and back end of the main house. That's all getting cut down below grade. So there's a little bit of cut and fill, and the fill mainly just being where that infinity edge is.
Right, okay.
But we still have, I think it's 10 feet from the property line in that corner.
Mhm.
Actually, more than that, on the infinity edge where we show the filling, it's actually closer to, I mean, where that blue line is, you can see we still have quite a bit of distance between that and the property line. So we feel like we can, because we want to keep it 3 feet off, we want to keep it level at that grade, because we don't want to be more than 30 inches high with our retaining. And then we're going to start sloping it down to grade.
Got it. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Val?
I don't know. I am not reading this probably the right way. It looks to me in this section like there's 18 feet of topography change from existing grade to where it's going to slope off the infinity edge. So
Now, the red line is, so the grade after that infinity, so after the property line, the grade does fall off. So the way the lot works is it kind of goes like at an angle like that, right? So that's why it shows it a little bit more severe. But remember, the existing grade is the dot, you know, the dotted line.
Yeah,
Basically, you're building on top of the existing grade, not into the existing grade. You're taking.
yeah, I'm
high point.
uncomfortable with making a decision on this because I just don't really see it. So
Well, they're taking the high point as the top of the coping at the house side and then going straight across basically on top of the existing grade with the bottom of the pool structure. Then they come back up and then they have to build up on that left side because.
But it's only in that one corner, like the rest of the lot. So that's
Right, right.
That's-
So it's all coming.
Yeah. Could we just not so much back and forth? I'd like to hear from Diane, and I have some things to say about it as well. So, Diane, what's your?
yeah, I think if you look at the site plan for the pool, not this one, the other one, right at the foot of the infinity thing, it goes up to 43.5.
Mhm.
And then it drops to 40, and then it goes back down to 36, which is the original, and to 34. So you're going 34, you're going 10 feet up from 34 to 43.5, or it's 9.5 feet. We do not usually just say, okay, we sort of have a fill-in moving around the stuff by 2.5 to 3 feet, which is about what this is more to build up the edge of the pool. And I just,
No back and forth, Lindsay, please.
Okay, sure.
I think that is too much because it's going to show up, maybe not easily, but that still puts that up and then hanging and then going over, no matter how you build it out from 43.5 down to 34. So I don't know, but I'd like to see a better picture of it or something so it's clearer.
Yeah, so, Diane, is there anything else?
No, it's the other stuff, I guess we've proved most of it. It's just that infinity edge pool is that amount of buildup for that point, because you have to, it's 46 in the middle of the green, and then it's 43, and then 40, and then the drop down. So I don't know if there's a better way to fill that in so you don't have to build up so much to do the infinity edge.
Can
That's
I
all.
make a suggestion?
But, so now I'm going to go and then after that. So, my feeling is that, that there's so much manipulation of the land to get a large agenda on this site. And it's, you know, I don't like the cavalier attitude about that. I think we're working with our natural landscape, and this is, you know, you got a bocce court here, you got a, you know, lawn down there, and now you've got an infinity pool right on an edge. So I think to understand this site, I don't know if we need a group visit with flag, you know, poles to indicate, to help us read this, because it's an awful lot of so you
Can I
can
say something,
respond.
Gabby?
Yes.
It seems like if you rotate the pool, you would get it away from the property line and away from all that steep grading. Rotate it 190 degrees more into the center of that big old white lawn.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
What if I made, like right now, we're trying to keep the walls at 2.5. The walls aren't going to be visible from a public way anyway, because it's covered by brush and everything. I could alleviate some of that grading after the infinity edge if I make those walls taller. Would that help? So
No,
No.
because they would be less visible, and then I could plant on the other side of it so that it's not, you're not dealing with the grading. Because the way it works, I mean, the house is already approved at a certain grade, right? And so obviously the pool is going to be at that same level. We were trying to keep the walls at 30 inches or less so that we wouldn't have to have a railing. But, you know, if it pleases the board, we can make it a railing, or have like a planting bed above the wall, so that we don't have, so that we can do less grading in that corner.
Right. So, but do you hear the question marks coming from the board about the manipulating and the closeness of the, and the, you know, the wild, you know, the height of the supporting walls, and there seem to be a lot of questions. So I think rather than,
I can stake it out, if that pleases the board. I think the house is already staked, so I can stake out the pool and do a string line showing the elevation so that you can see in person the elevation changes.
so what is the pleasure of the board?
I think a view is good, and stake it out. I think it would give us some idea, and I think more precise drawings with some side views and bigger amount of what the topography is around the pool. The little one is hard to see and understand. I'd like to see.
And I'll get the surveyor to do an exact topo, so that
Right.
we're dealing not with town GIS, but we're dealing with exact topo.
That would be good.
I think, I don't think, so do I hear a motion to?
Hold for cited in revisions and the view
with stakes.
with stakes and the string line.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll let Kadeem know once it's staked out.
Cool.
okay, thank
Cool.
you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane, are you in favor of that motion?
Yes.
Val,
Yes, aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
and myself, I thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Okay, so Val, you probably figured this out. Your 20 goldfinch, you would have me, Abby, Diane, and Carrie. You
Right.
good with that?
Yes, because there was really just some minimal changes
Love
requested.
that. Okay, so let's move forward then.
Essentially, the first rendition, the gable forward was more of a dormer. And the request was to make it more like the buildings in there with the true gable forward, you know, going all the way to the edge of the building. Some more substantial trim on the corner boards, a smaller window in that gable. And the front door. What was the front door? He's got it circled.
Looks okay to me.
Yeah.
Different doorknob?
Oh, there was more trim on top, I think, just to give it a little more presence.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
those were the only real concerns that from the minutes I have in front of me.
Okay.
The houses, as you know, are close together there by virtue of the size of the lot. So the sides and the rear are really not visible per se.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure you can. Go ahead, Abby.
I can't remember if the front is clabbered and painted or,
Let me look.
because I think that would give it a more classical look.
No, it's shingled, but
Okay.
sure.
I was thinking that the
Oh,
clapboard.
wait, it says gray. Okay. Clapboard gray. Yep,
Oh.
clapboard. Sorry.
Oh, great, great. Okay. And then I
Yep.
was just wondering on those those big thick corner, are those, do those have trim? Like, are they just like huge corner?
Well, it looks to me like it's just being presented as, a wider corner board, but I'm sure if you request a little more trim somewhere, they
I
would
would,
be okay.
I would suggest personally, just a little trim going inside that, and then maybe that where it the bottom of the pediment, make that fascia strip a little thicker, so it's really looks like
Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Wait, where is that, Abby?
Right above
below
the second floor windows.
Okay,
Add
So a
add
freeze board?
board.
Yeah,
okay,
and then you got yourself a temple.
gotcha.
Okay, I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Yeah, so those pilasters, you could just add like a little flat panel in there. That's kind of what would be done.
Okay,
Okay, Abby, thank you. Diane?
Yeah, I think what's been suggested is good. And I think it fits in for the most part with the houses near, close to it. So I don't have any problem with the moving of the pilaster thing to going for it.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Carrie?
Can we see the side elevation? I know you're not going to see it, but I just was curious to how that turned gable reads.
What this is going to result in is that, do you mean the fact that there's a gable facing the front and the sides?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would go all the way through to the back, but it
Yeah.
doesn't, which is
It-
fine. You're not going to see this much in Gnaw Shop, but it would be weird that way too. So that's all. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, so Val, it sounds like we want to do just a couple of things through staff.
okay,
One would be to add a freeze board above the second floor window heads.
yeah,
Two would be to make the pilasters such that you could have like little flat panels in them, like you would see, on any other Greek revival. Was that it, folks?
Yeah.
That was it?
Oh,
Okay,
Sorry, that's my motion.
that's your motion. Okay, so Abby's approved this through staff, having a freeze board above the second floor windows and pilasters with flat panels to read like pilasters. So on Abby's motion, Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Carrie,
Aye.
great. Abby on your motion. And I'm in favor. Motion carries. Very good.
thank you.
Now, I don't want to disappoint all the people that have come out to hear this today, but I got a feeling Luke would be in charge of this because it's his project. But Luke,
He would be.
Diane is obviously chairing this. You got Abby here and Val, which would give you a 3-person board.
Did he sign on?
I thought I saw,
Yeah, he is here.
He's on his own. Let me go yell downstairs for him.
Oh, boy. The joy of in-house.
I just saw him on there. Yeah, Luke's there.
Luke. Woo. you're on.
Sorry.
You got him? Can you hear him?
Well, I can hear him through your microphone. Yeah.
Are you
Uh,
on mute?
I'm sorry, I was in the middle of something.
Oh, hey, Luke.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay.
sorry about that.
So listen, on your 27 North Liberty, you have Diane is here. She's chairing, Abby and Val, but you're missing Stephen, Jesse, and even John McLaughlin, who apparently read back in.
Well, most importantly, we're missing Jeff Kashulik then.
Oh,
I'm right here, Luke.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
Jeff
there.
is here.
Okay. Well, I'd leave the question to Jeff Kashulik.
go for it, Jeff. In fact, I should have Diane asking these questions because she is chairing this.
What do you want to do, Jeff?
You know what? Based upon the fact of the big change being that the building isn't moving, which should be a delight to all. Let's go with it.
Okay,
We'll go with a 3-member board.
Okay.
all right.
Hey, thanks, Diane. I'm going to mute. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So one of you tell me what you are proposing. Either Jeff,
Luke, I'll run with it. So, Diane, thank you.
okay,
So in essence, we're simplifying this to the nth degree, and we're going to leave the building exactly where it sits, sideways and up and down. Okay, no movement. The other properties are off the table, not ready to go any further, discuss any of that. We've got, a small addition, some modest deck, some deck changes. But essentially, this plan is the same, for the most part, is the same plan that's been in front of you for many years with some, as I said, with some minor tweaks. One important point to bring out is several months ago, we reached out to the historic preservationist, Penn Austin, just seeking her advice as to an important, matter. The foundation was always and is in horrible condition, on this underneath this existing building, and she provided us information as to how to repair and reinforce that in place. And although she won't be involved with any of the work, I did want to let the board know that that we did reach out to her, and we've got a pretty good feel as to how to go ahead and do that. So again, as I started, and the reason for going forward with just a 3-member board is that the argument all these years wasn't the design. And the neighbors will attest to that. It was always the movement of the building, and I'm agreeing to let it sit right where it sits. So with that said, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Luke can help as necessary if needed as well. So thank you.
thanks very much. Let's start with what is going on.
Madam Chair,
Yeah. Right,
if I could just give
Right,
some
Holly?
information. Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to give
yes.
some, reiterate some history for the commission. And then there may be some people from the public here. But obviously this is an individually significant historic structure within the historic district. Glad to hear that it's,
Who's talking?
I don't know, hold on. I'm glad to hear that it's not moving, that this is just a proposed addition at the end of the day. What is being proposed to be demolished? How old is the roof system? These are comments from a staff's perspective. Any existing windows that are to be demolished should be retained or reused if original. The proposed door surround is appropriate with the proof of the historic photo. Thank you for providing that, and the clapboard, should the commission wish to move forward with that. The shed roof addition is set back off the facade appropriately. Thank you. Although the 3 light window in that shed roof addition is a little odd, but I also noticed the reiterations that have happened over time, so that would be something for you all to look into. And then the dormer on the southeast doesn't seem appropriate with this type of architecture. Those are my comments on this revision of proposals, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All righty, thank you very much, Holly. Do we have anybody, if I have them speak now, have we got anybody who would like to speak? It's in the audience?
Yes, I would.
Yes, please. I would
Okay,
too.
Barry?
Yes, sure. Thank you. And I'd like to say that we really don't have any B4 objection to changes on 27 North Liberty Street, if necessary.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes?
We need all the speakers to give us their full name and
sorry.
address.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you very much. Barry Berman, 28 North Liberty Street, directly across the street. And, you know, we don't really have any strong B4 objection to changes on 27 North Liberty Street. We just want to make sure that if it's necessary, if these changes are necessary, that to make sure that they're in keeping with the historic character of the home and street. And we applaud Jeff for withdrawing the plan to move the home, which would, I think, as we all know, would have destroyed its historic integrity. And we do respect, and I personally respect, his growing appreciation for North Liberty Street and its structures and the history. It doesn't mean we have concerns and respectful differences, which we sometimes do, but we would just like to make sure that the commission looks at the plan very carefully and making sure that it doesn't overwhelm the historic house itself. The home, you know, if you take a look at the front of it, if you take a look at the 2-dimensional plan, sometimes it has a way of fooling the eye in a way, in that it looks like that there's just a bump out. But the house with the renovations will be seen from the side because it has a big backyard, and it's prominent and visible for the street. So I would like you to just check and make sure that the size of the proposed addition is in keeping with the historic structures and the Seth Ray house. It's often been stressed by the HDC that the addition should be subordinate to the old house and not overwhelm and subsume it. So that's what we ask you to take a look at. I would also, you know, we're very concerned that in the renovation process, and I was happy to hear that Jeff had consulted with the appropriate people in terms of ways and means, but we would also like to make sure that the commission, you know, specifies the specific means and methods for the renovation to protect its integrity. And we'd love to see a detailed plan of how this is going to happen without destroying the structure. So that's just about it. I appreciate all the work that the HDC has done. I thank you for your diligence the past 7 years. You've spent many hours putting up with us and with Jeff, and couldn't have been a lot of fun for you. But we really would like to applaud your efforts and just make sure that the renovations and additions are within keeping of the house itself, so that it doesn't overwhelm the historic scope of the Seth Ray house.
All right, thank you very much. Who else was the person who would like to be on?
Yes, please, I would. This is
Okay.
Joan Hoyt, 30 North Liberty Street, directly across the street from number 27.
Okay,
Madam Chair and Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak very briefly this afternoon. Because of the history of what we have all gone through with this, I wanted to get on the record saying I would like you to know that my husband and I do not oppose the applicant's newly proposed changes as a whole. And we don't object to changes in the house in general. In fact, we neither expect nor ask the applicant to leave every feature of the house in its current state. Rather, we applaud the applicant's desire to make the house more comfortable by today's standards. We support that. However, we feel there are small external adjustments as well as internal improvements he can make that would support his investment, but also retain the historic streetscape and character of our neighborhood. As we know, the land bank plans to enhance the Lily Pond Park, which abuts this property. The park is a simple, natural feature of the neighborhood that remains unchanged by modern structures and excessive architecture. It is like our simple little neighborhood itself, which is an integral part and a living example of old Nantucket history. The park and our neighborhood uniquely demonstrate the small scale and simplicity of what old Nantucket was. And that is also 27 North Liberty's current value and contribution. It is a significant part of our historic streetscape, which is an important part of the history of Nantucket. So I'm here to ask you not to permit excessive additions and other changes to the property that will obscure a viewer's ability to see what the house's footprint was and what the house looked like for more than 2 centuries. Please consider these facts and ensure that whatever changes you may approve do not overwhelm this simple house and turn it into just another massive home that looms larger than life and stands out as an intrusion in our historic neighborhood. Please deny the parts of the proposed changes that hide the property's history. Thank you very much for letting me speak today. And I want to reiterate what Barry just said. We appreciate all the work that you have all put in on this for the last 7 years. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. So is there anybody else who cares to speak? If not, I will move on to the commissioners and I will ask Val if she would like to start.
Sure, I will. I appreciate this design very much. It looks as though it's simply adding 140 square feet on the ground and making up some extra space by some second floor space that is quite modest. I think that I know it's quirky, the little transom window on the front, but that is on the building now and being reused. So, you know, Nantucket in and of itself, some of those old buildings have a little quirk where they found a window, they threw it in. So I don't mind that. And the side that I believe is the most visible, well, everybody does, is the southeast. And I'm looking at all the iterations in succession here, and I really feel that although it's being altered, it is maintaining, in my opinion, the essence of the house that's there, and I am okay with it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Then I will go to Abby.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I appreciate taking this to a more adaptable architecture for the neighbors and so forth. Historically, I have a couple of questions. I wanted to know, is the clapboard going to be white, and are the shutters, what are the color of the shutters, if there are shutters?
The clapboard is white. And there are no shutters.
And no shutters, okay. So, that elevation is up, the southeast elevation, so let me start there. Yeah, it's a bit of agenda going on off the back, but I think it's appropriate, and I don't mind the odd window to the right in the second floor. It'd be nice if that were a duplicate of the one to the left. I think that would make more sense. And it looks like you have enough room. Also on the back shed, I'd like to see a small window in that, on that wall, right there, yeah. Just,
Yeah.
it could be just a 6 light. It doesn't have to be a 6/6, just something to give that wall some life. So that's it on that southeast elevation. I agree, that is the most visible, and it's the one we're going to see from the park, blah, 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 coming down the street. And on the front elevation, I would prefer to see either a smaller 6/6 or another of, if we could go to that front elevation. That far right window, I think that's a really odd, it sort of reminds me of a laundry room or something. It's not, this is a small, quiet house, but it still is very sophisticated in its simplicity. So I think that kind of brings it down a notch. I'd rather see a 6/6 or an equally sized window in that little shed there.
One of the smaller windows.
Smaller, or a smaller 6/6 or an equal one, but I think that disturbs the 12 and 4. But anyway, that's what I have, Diane, and I thank you for I thank you, Jeff, for working with the board and neighbors, and I thank you for all of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abby. And I guess I'm the next one. I appreciate a lot what's been done. I appreciate keeping the facade and not moving the building. I don't know, talking about that little window to the right, the little free window. I don't know whether that's good, because bigger than that, it would bring it down, and I think keeping it up, I don't know whether you could just do a 2 window, 2 of a 6/6. Some people would find it funny, but if you have a building like that, you got to have some light. So think about having just a 2 thing, or 3, or the small 6/6. Can I go to the other elevations? From the original, going way back, you are going to take that dormer out, and the one that's right under the chimney, and you're adding two dormers to it. The height is not changing. Can you figure out how high that one is that comes right under the chimney? I was wondering if it could be lowered a little. I don't know whether you can do that. I can't. I have it as a 12/8 for the lower windows, or the lower roofs. I don't know what that one is. I don't see it anywhere. I just think maybe if it came down a little bit, that particular one wouldn't be quite so eye-catching. I appreciate keeping the chimneys, because I think that's very important. And so that's my statement on that. Let's go to the next one. this one, you're using a smaller window up there under the chimney because it matches a historic photograph, which is good. And I appreciate the chimney being rebuilt to fit in with the new thing. I think the first floor addition over there on the right does need a window, as Val mentioned. And I like the rest of the windows. I do want to mention that if any windows are moved and they are old or the original, they should be rebuilt if at all possible and put back in. The trim and the rest of the stuff, I think we've come to what it's going to be. I appreciate the amount of work that has gone in on both your parts to come up with this. And being such a controversial building, I think this will be acceptable in the neighborhood. So what do you want to do with this? I need a motion. Can you believe?
Diane, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yes. Can I just reply to, I mean, there seems to be three concerns, two of which are easily met. The rear, the southeast elevation where there's that little blank wall on that, the very end of the building right there, adding a 6/6 window. Then coming to the front elevation, I believe on HDC submission 1, we showed a 6/6 window right there. On HDC, on this submission, we took a window from the west side gable to implement in that place, just to reuse that particular window. I'm not, it doesn't matter to me which window goes there. Okay. I'd be happy to go with the 6/6 that we had originally showed before. Okay. And the one matter that we can't deal with, Diane, from your perspective, and it's because we've already dealt with it over several iterations, is on the southeast elevation. We brought that rear ridge down that runs from the street, back towards the Lilly Pond. We brought that down to a point where we can't drop it any lower.
right. I just thought I
Right.
would mention it because if you could, I would have liked to have
Yeah,
seen
no,
that.
no. I didn't want that to get caught in any revision because it can't be. And I do want to remind you that, or not remind you, that's a strong word. We had originally planned to lift this house and put, a bedroom, underneath, in the basement here. We no longer have that, that possibility. And we really can't give anything more on the headroom height on the rear second floor southeast elevation. So I just wanted all three board members to, I didn't want to get caught in that. The other two windows make perfect sense.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Madam Chair, could I say something that I think is important?
Sure.
I'm bringing up I'm thinking about the foundation. I wanted to know what the material was, and if it's just going to be parged, I was going to suggest where we see a lot of the foundation that it get vegetation in front of it so that it doesn't appear as, sort of a, like a house on stilts or something.
Right.
I'd like to see it more incorporated into the house. So what is that material of the new foundation?
It'll be a block foundation, parged, and it will certainly be hidden with foundation plantings.
Okay, I think that's when you look back from the Lily Pond, most of the houses do have that you have the same
Yes.
thing going on, the drop in grade and it's
Yes.
natural as it goes down to the pond. So
Yes.
yeah, I would appreciate that foundation being screened. I can try a motion.
Sure.
A motion to approve with the on the front elevation, reusing that old window as it was in the first iteration. I mean, that, and also a small window in that last shed on the southeast there. I can't remember if anybody wanted anything else. Those were my personal, did someone else say they wanted something else?
I have
So I
a
think-
question,
Yes,
Abby. Can
Yeah.
he reuse that 3-light window that he has proposed on the front, which is an existing window? If there has to be a window on that rear L, can he reuse that? That seems appropriate to me.
Oh, sure. You mean take that, so
Right
that's an existing window, the 3-light,
Yeah,
put that on the rear. Yeah, I think that's a
Yes.
great idea.
okay, so that's the motion, and there's only the three of us.
I,
I,
mhm.
there you go, Jeff. There
Thank you
go,
so
Rick.
much. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank
Have
you.
a drink on us.
All right.
Too.
Thank you, thank you.
And all the
Okay.
people that were there this afternoon, thank you, Barry, Joan.
I'll call him back.
Cross that off the list. All right. So, Matt, are you on?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so 7 East Lincoln. You're looking pretty good because you got me, Abby, Diane, no Stephen, but you have Carrie. So it's a 4-person board. You want to go?
Yep, that'd be great. I think what we've done here, we came back and we're seeking a roof walk and we removed it. So we're gonna still lower the building. We're gonna frame it with the framing to support the roof walk, and we might come back when it's under construction, but we're withdrawing it from the application.
All right, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Okay, everybody got it? I think that was the only concern on this thing. I mean, he did drop the roof, the ridge. Oh, I should ask, Holly, anything?
Not from HSAB, but just from myself, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Matt, for having no roof walk. Appreciate that. And also appreciate the lowering of the structure itself. Wanted to just discuss the color. There was a comment about Essex green not being appropriate, and there at the last HDC hearing, so just wanted to bring that up. The vertical board, you proposing Harbor Gray, and didn't know if natural to weather was more appropriate, but those are the comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks. So Essex green was on the shutters, right?
Correct.
And the rest is white.
Yes, and if I could, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
through you, is just the Harbor Gray. The idea is I would be comfortable with the natural, although with the flood waters, we are concerned about like water staining at a
It's gonna
certain level.
stain. Yeah. it's
So
gonna
that's why we
totally
suggested the
stain.
gray to emulate a weathered cedar look.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, Matt?
That's it, Mr. Chair.
All right. Okay, who wants to start?
I'll go.
Thanks, Abby. Go ahead.
Okay, appreciate nixing the roof walk. I think is the proposed shutters and foundation wood is proposed as a gray.
Shutters, Essex green, foundation, gray.
Okay, yeah. So I think I might have been the one I think Essex green is a little heavy down there. I thought you said it was going to be like a light gray, which I would have thought would be more, you're down there in the dunes, and Essex gray to me is more Main Street, but so that's my thought on that.
Okay. Thanks, Abby. Diane?
Yeah, I think that it would be better to have a light gray. I think I'm not sure how much those would stain. I'd rather have it with no paint, but if that's the best way to keep it looking good, then I'd go with that. And I appreciate, really, really, really appreciate the roof walk not there. Other than that, I don't have any things. I think that he's answered all the questions that have come up. Can I just see the front facade once again? No, that's good. So that's it. I appreciate the work that's been done. I think it will approve everything that we have asked for.
Okay, Diane, thank you. Carrie?
I also appreciate no roof walk, and I think because there is a lot of trim on this house and that it's white, I think the dark green will come across as too much. So I'm in agreement with Abby there. I think it's on a different style house that is more appropriate than this, but I think the gray would be gorgeous on the shutters, because there are quite a lot of shutters, and it would just be soft and subtle. And I think if you're willing to think about that, that's what I think.
Okay. Well, Matt, what do you say? I mean, because I happen to agree, you have a 4-person board now. And by the way, everybody, we've been talking about the shutters as Essex Green, but it's called out as shutters plus front door, right? Although, was Essex Green already approved for the front door, Matt?
I think it was for the front door.
It's not in red, so I guess the inference I'm making is that it was approved as Essex Green, the front door.
It was.
It was, okay, and the side lights, I would guess. Anyway, how do you feel? How do you and your client feel?
I would just withdraw the color change of the shutters.
What were they before, Matt?
I actually don't recall. I know that they weren't Essex Green, but I know that they were a color that was approved by this board. I want to say they were either gray or maybe blue, but it was a color that you had approved previously. So without agreeing to change them to gray, I don't think they were gray. And I just would rather discuss that with the client before agreeing to a color.
So you're just withdrawing that aspect of the application.
The portion of the application that requests the color
So we
change to the
can move
shutters.
this guy along. Okay, so folks.
A motion to approve without the color change of the shutters.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. On Abby's motion, Diane?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, yeah.
a point of
Yeah.
order, I guess, is
Yeah.
the application also said add roof walk, even though his plans indicate no roof walk. So I just think that should be important in the motion.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Could we please add that to my motion?
All right. So part of that motion then is we're striking 2 things, the language that refers to the roof walk in the application and the color change on the shutters. That's Abby's motion. On that motion, Diane. Diane?
I'm here. I
Okay.
got 2 things going.
Hmm.
I'm an aye, and I appreciate Abby for catching that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Carrie?
Aye.
All right. Abby, on your motion?
Aye.
Very good. And I'm in favor, of course. Motion carries. Thank you, Matthew. Actually, you got, let's see now. Okay, you got another one at 26 Easy. You also have a 4-person board here. You got myself, Diane, Val, and Carrie.
Mr. Chair, if it's okay, just given the length of time that the board's looked at this, is it possible to put this over for Tuesday with the hopes that I get back?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Can somebody who's on the board, that was a hold till Tuesday?
Yes.
Hold it Tuesday.
Yeah, so Abby, you're actually not on this, but so I'm going to take Diane's motion. So on Diane's motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Thank you, Val. Val still there?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. You in
Aye.
favor? Okay, thank you. Diane, on your motion?
Aye,
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Now, the next one I'm going to guess, Diane is chairing, but you only have 3 people on that. I mean,
Yeah.
what's
Hey,
this? for?
Can I call that over to Tuesday as well, Mr.
Okay, I'm
Chair?
gonna let Diane chair this one because she
Gotcha.
is chairing, so I'm gonna mute for a sec.
okay. So what do you want to do, Matt?
I would just request, Madam Chair, if I could hold this to Tuesday, because I think I only have a 3-person board today.
Right, all right. Can I just get a quick motion to hold Matt until Tuesday?
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And me, I'm I, and the, oh.
I'm an
Abby's not on. Carrie,
Aye.
so that's it. Thank you,
Thank you. Have a great day.
you too.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Now, folks, we're on to new business. It's, I think, going to, my guess is that we're only going to take care of the Thornwell design projects, of which there are 4 by the time we adjourn at 2:30. Maybe possibly get to permits plus, but certainly nothing beyond that. So if you're waiting for something later on in the agenda, then that's most likely not going to be heard today. And we'd be moving all this to Tuesday's agenda. So having said that, everyone present, board members, will be sitting on the applications with the exception of Carrie, because she or Luke are going to be representing this. So you got Val, Diane, Abby, and myself.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so this is a house that was built in the 1960s. Iski Santos was one of his first houses. Originally, it was the real estate, the commercial real estate company's office, and it had two front doors. Now, of course, it's owned by a private owner, and rather than do a 2-story house, he's willing to just extend his one-story aspects of it in as simple a manner as possible to the side and to the rear.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Holly, go ahead.
It's okay. I do have Sconset Advisory Board
Yep.
comments. As Luke had mentioned, this is a 1960s cape. I am going to mention that there was no historical information with the application, so I'm going to make that a point every single time if there isn't any. But appreciate the anecdote about being Iski Santos, one of his. Sconset made a comment on the north elevation. The proposed addition makes the existing mass feel out of balance in view from the street. Their suggestion would be to move the addition back towards the south around 15 feet to scale down this appearance. Also prefer the existing plank door look on the main facade. And I also agree with that the addition should be pushed back a little bit more off the facade, as well as maybe dropping the eave and the ridge, but appreciate the simple addition to the structure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Holly.
Can I say one thing, Ray?
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, because I tend to agree with Holly, but on the other hand, I do want you guys to seriously understand that this program, it honestly, maybe a foot or two, but it cannot be drastically reduced. Otherwise, they're going to move to very likely
Second floor.
a second floor. So I've been through that with the owner, and I'm well aware of, and her point is good. But I think when you compare what the alternative is to this, I think at the end of the day, you would probably prefer this. But I'll leave that to your final.
Point taken, Luke, thanks. Who would like to start? I'm not choosing somebody.
I didn't see this in the view pack, so Can you blow it up a few notches?
3.
Okay. I don't have a problem with this. It's very simple. The house is simple. Vintage 1960. I appreciate that it hasn't bumped up a second floor, so I'm fine with this.
Okay, thanks, Val. Abby,
Well, I didn't quite understand why isn't the addition going out the rear? Instead of to the
well,
side?
it is actually,
rear
part of it is.
Yeah, 50%, almost, well, I say 30% of it's going out the rear. Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, I meant the whole addition, like, you know, we just saw North Liberty and all the agendas like going back towards, rather than sort of crowding the house at the lot line. I was just wondering.
Well, I think they're trying to create a a
Right.
small garden area in the rear.
Sure.
And put the functions to the side. They would block their their kitchen and their bedroom views. They're trying to
Okay.
change as little as possible.
Yep, I see that. Okay. So, could we go back to just the front elevation? I guess that's the one we're mostly interested. So, so that you're saying that left hand addition cannot come down from that roof line any more than that?
Can I say something about that? The fact that there's very little differential there, Abby, has to do with the fact that this is a really, really low pitched roof. So
No,
when you get a really low pitched,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just wondering, it's such a minimal amount. I'm just even wondering if, if it doesn't stay the same. To me, it looks so pinched. I'd almost rather see it the same height. I just don't know. So,
okay.
yeah, no,
So
I get it that it's a very low building and you can't have much headroom there.
Well, I also meant that, let's say that he pushes it back another 2 feet, in order to get it further away from the front facade.
Mhm.
A 2-foot pushback on what is the roof pitch? Is it even a 6? I don't even think it's a 6 and 12. I think it's less than that.
I can't see the drawing myself.
So also, I was wondering, did Wisconsin Advisory weigh in on this?
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
Holly read that.
yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Anything else, Abby?
No,
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Diane. Let's see, Diane's muted him probably.
There we go, sorry.
There we go, that's okay.
Are we looking at the front door as a 6-panel door or the batten type door?
We're proposing a 6-panel, but I believe
I'd
it's a
like-
6-panel that's there if you look at the photos.
Yeah, I like what the 6-panel, I don't have any photos, Luke. So I just think that the batten type door sort of fits in with the facade as it is. So that's all. As to the choice of the front door would be. And the, I don't know, I looked at the site plan and everything to look at that addition. It couldn't have a shed roof. You need that straight across roof. It's,
Well, it would create a, I'd have to look at that, but I'm guessing it would create like a pork chop effect. That shed would sort of,
right,
how it would resolve in the rear or on the front. It might come proud of the existing, well, it certainly would come proud of the existing ridge line at the high point.
yeah. Well, probably have to stick with it. I just like the way it was tucked in there on the north elevation, but they need the room and I'd rather not go to a second floor. So I would go along with it.
All right, thanks, Diane. Well, so Luke, you kind of sort of tipped your hand a moment ago when we were talking about the rebate between the existing house front and your addition. You said, well, maybe it can go back a few more feet. Can it?
I think possibly, could you pull up the floor plan? I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, so I was just gonna suggest, like, if you shifted the whole thing back, then you get your 2 feet more in the front. And, you know, I don't think anybody cares if it goes further into the back.
I think we could
Little-
deal with 2 feet. Yeah,
What?
I think shifting it back 2 feet, I can make that work for the.
I think that's going to do something good perceptually that we can only appreciate when this is in 3 dimensions. And that is, it's going to subordinate the secondary ridge more because it's further away. It's going to make it slightly lower. And it's also going to just kind of push that additive mass back away from, you know, so it's not competing at the roadside with the original piece. So if you're able to do that, I would be like totally behind this one. Does somebody want to make a motion of some kind on this?
Motion to approve with the addition moving back 2 feet.
2 feet further, yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, so on that motion, thanks, Val. On the motion, Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Abby?
I appreciate
Very-
the
very
idea.
good.
too.
Yeah, very good. And I think you'll be happy with the result, Abby. And Val, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Thank you, Luke.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Luke, we still have you. You're at 26 Lincoln.
Well, there's
Street.
3 applications though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, are you thinking about time there, Val?
Yeah, it's 2:30 twee.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it is? I thought it was like 2:20 something. Look,
24.
we actually, okay, guys, we made actually more headway than I thought we would for a Tuesday for an hour and a half. So, hey, Luke, I think we're going to take this all up again first thing next Tuesday, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So everybody enjoy the rest of their Thursday and we'll see you all next week. Does somebody
I
want to
make
make a?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Diane. Just the motion I was looking for. On the motion, Val,
Aye.
Abby.
Da, 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 I.
Okay. And Diane.
Me too.
All right. And I'm in favor too. Hey, thank you, intrepid souls, for coming out on a Thursday. It was only 5 of us actually today. All right. See you Tuesday. Have a nice
Thank you,
weekend.
guys. See you Tuesday.
Bye. Thanks, Kadeem. Thanks, Holly.
Bye.
Bye-bye.